Alrighty, it was good seeing you again this week. What we're going to do is I'm going to do a quick 7 layout for your majors, a quick 7 layout for your minors, and then I'm going to show you how to make them with your alternate fingerings. For every case, when we put any one finger on and a fourth finger's not on, we're just going to be doing a pendulum or a teeter-totter. Hence, playing a D major, if we've got our second fret, first finger on the G string to make a G, G sharp, A. We've got our A. We put our second finger on the second fret to make an F sharp, and then our third finger on the actual D note on the third fret. It gives us our A, F sharp, and D, which if we count it out, A, B, C, D, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, and D. Those are our 7 notes. 2 sharps in the key of D, one's F sharp, one's C sharp. That makes our triad, our major triad, a D, an F sharp, and a A. If we wanted to make this D a minor, we would flatten our third scale degree. So D major goes to a D minor. If we wanted to play D major to a D major 7, we would drop our tonic down to a 7th tone, which is the a D major down to a D major 7. We would drop our 7th tone, which is a C sharp, down to a C. In this case, our D would go to a C sharp for the D major 7. If we wanted a D dominant 7, we would go to the C and keep the bookends of the F sharp and the A. Next chord, we have got a E. Here's our E major. E major is going to be here. We've got our E note, our G sharp, which gives us our major third because we have a E, G sharp, E, G, and an A. Not A, B. E, G, and a B. So E, G sharp, and B. Then 1, 3, 5. If we remove the G sharp, it becomes an E minor. So what does that tell us? Our third scale degree in every major determines major and minor. So if we were playing an E major and we wanted to have an E major 7, we would find our E and go down a half step. So playing just these 2 notes would be our E major 7. If we got rid of this top note and played an open D over the top of this, that would be our E major, E dominant 7. Yeah? What comes after E? F. So here's our F chord. We're going to be playing. What we do is, if we were going to be playing our E major, and we know that an F is a half step away, we would move our E major to our E major 2nd finger and scoot it up, place our fingers, our nodes over the top of these to make the F. So we have a F sharp, G, all the way up, so much and so forth. So after F, it comes to G, and here's where I'd like to make the point. If you could play a G this way, then you can play a G this way, because all you're doing is taking the E, scooting up the E to F, F sharp, and G. The notes that you play here are still the triad. You still have a G, you skip the A, you go to the B, you skip the C, you go to the D. So you got a G, B, and D. Here's your G, here's your D, here's your B, here's your repeat of your G, just octaves. After G, we've got our A. A is going to be the bar across these 3 while leaving this note open on the top. The idea of this is you want to make these flat and then leave a little gap in between like that. You see how that thing is going up? If it was flat, that would be a different note. Since I'm doing that, it's leaving this top note to ring, which means my A can have this. If I wanted an A and go down a half step from my A note to here, I could play that A, but play it like this to get my A major 7, or I could drop that note completely and have an A dominant 7. After A, we have a B. So our B is going to be composed of same thing as the A, but we're going to scoot it up past the A sharp or the B flat to an A, to a B, which means we're going to have to make that same bar, but instead of leaving that top string open, we're going to bar it at the 2nd fret, giving us that for our B major. Of course, if we want to make it a B major 7, we move our B down a half step and play, which will give us our B major 7, accenting the half step for the 7th. And if we wanted a B dominant 7, we can drop that to an open note, which will give us our open E over the top of a B, which, as you know, is going to be our B dominant 7. All right, so that's B, and then it takes us full circle to our C major. So our C major is going to be played like this. We know that when we drop our C, our third step, we go down to a C minor. Well, in here you could add this top G, because G is the 5th of C. C, D, E, F, G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So C major, C minor. So at this point, we should be able to take all of our chords. D major, D minor, E major, E minor, F major, F minor, G major, G minor, A major, A minor, B major, B minor. And we're going back to C, C major, C major, C minor, then back to D major. So after here, we can see our D, D7, I'm sorry, D, D major 7, D7, our E, E, E7, E major 7, E dominant 7, F would be F, F major 7, A, F dominant 7, F G, G major, G, G major 7, G dominant. So you still have your G, so we're moving this a half and a whole. So that's our G, and then after G we've got A, so we've got our A major 7. Looks like your D7, but right here, A major 7, then you open up that G note, and then have your bookends to have A dominant 7. After we have our A dominant 7, we could go all the way A, B, so our B again is going to be B. Here we go. Here's our B major. Here's our B. So B, so B major 7. Here's our B dominant 7. So all those were the majors, the minors, and then being able to distinguish the dominants. The other ones we have are our sus chords. So any chord you have your sus on, like a, let's say a D, if I added the second to that, D, E, I could have this by playing the top note here, that note here, and this note, but then I'm covering this note with that, giving my E sus, or I could just leave the F sharp off and play this with the top E open, having a D sus 2. Or if I 1, 2, 3, 4, I could add the C, not the C, the G onto the D and have a G sus 4. So next week, maybe come back with a couple of the susses. We'll discuss what makes a sus and how to use them in a chord. And then as well being able to see our majors and our minors as having influence over tones, just as the 2nd, 4th, and the 7th do for diminished and dominant 7s. Also, you said you didn't really want to pick a song to go through. That's fine. Let's just keep working on these. Keep going with your spider exercises and get a little bit more fluid with where the fingers go. And as soon as you get your finger exercises where you're able to hit each individual note and they come out, try scooting up a fret and going, starting at the F, not the F sharp, but the, what is that? D sharp. Then when you're doing this at D sharp, try starting at the E, then the E sharp or the F. So on and so forth, over and over and over again. It's bound to get a little faster, and what it does is it creates muscle memory, as we spoke about. Anywho, it's great seeing you, and I'll see you again next week. Aloha.